Hello boys and girls, and welcome back to Story Time. Today's book we're reading is called Gator Gumbo. This book is written by Candace Fleming and the pictures are by Sally Ann Lambert. Let's see what this book is all about. Let me tell you about Mr. Gator. Mr. Gator, he lives down in the bayou. Oh yes he do. He lives on the edge of the swamp. He has big claws, big teeth, and a big appetite for sure. But Mr. Gator, he has a big problem too. You see, Mr. Gator, he is getting old. He is growing gray. He is moving so slow. Whew, I tell you that Gator moves slower than sawgrass grows. He moves slower than a snail with sore feet. He moves so slow he cannot catch himself a taste of possum or a bite of otter or a whiff of striped-tailed skunk. And oh ho, them critters sure know it. They sass Mr. Gator. They tease Mr. Gator. They pester Mr. Gator something fierce. They smarty pants chant, try as hard as you can't catch us 'cause you're an old man. Poor Mr. Gator. At every meal, he wipes away his tears and moans, "Sacre Dieu, vegetables again." One morning, as Mr. Gator eats his thin breakfast of leaves, moss, and roots, Mademoiselle Possum comes tail hanging from her tree. "Yoo-hoo, Mr. Gator," she calls as she swings back and forth just out of reach. "Am I looking tasty? Am I looking good?" Mr. Gator, he clamps tight his jaws and doesn't say a word. So Mr. Otter comes fur shaking from water to join in making fun. "Oh, I'm so scared," he mocks. "Please don't eat me." And he sticks his paws in his ears, sticks his tongue out of his mouth and goes, "Na na 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 poo poo." Mr. Gator, he grinds hard his teeth and doesn't say a word. So Madam Skunk comes sashaying from her log. She wiggles her striped fanny, puffs her perfume, and asks in a sugarcane voice, "Do I smell like lunch?" Then all three fall on their backs, kick up their feet, hold in their bellies, and laugh till they cry. Ha 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 ha. And Mr. Gator, he gets hot, red hot, hotter than gumbo. "I'm gonna cook up some gumbo, just like Mama used to," he cries. So Mr. Gator, he builds up a fire. He sets a big pot over the flames. He calls out to them slap-laughing critters, "Who's gonna fill this pot with water so I can cook up some gumbo?" "I ain't," snickers Mademoiselle Possum. "I ain't," snickers Mr. Otter. "I ain't," snickers Madame Skunk. "Then I'll be doing it myself," says Mr. Gator. Splash, pour, slop. The water goes into the pot. Pretty soon the water is bubbling hot and the steam is rising up. Whew, but them critters ain't never seen anything like it. They stop their gawping. They take a step toward the pot. "Mmm," says Mr. Gator. "Almost like Mama used to make. All this gumbo needs now is some claw-pinching fish. Who's gonna catch the crawdads?" "I ain't," smirks Mademoiselle Possum. "I ain't," smirks Mr. Otter. "I ain't," smirks Madame Skunk. "Then I'll be doing it myself," says Mr. Gator. Hook, peel, drop. Them crawdads go into the pot. Well, it doesn't take long for that sweet smell of crawdads to up and tweak them critters' snouts. They step closer to the pot. "Mmm," says Mr. Gator, "almost like Mama used to make. All this gumbo needs now is some health-building greens. Who's gonna pick the okra?" "I ain't," snorts Mademoiselle Possum. "I ain't," snorts Mr. Otter. "I ain't," snorts Madame Skunk. "Then I'll be doing it myself," says Mr. Gator. Pluck, slice, plop. The okra goes into the pot. The next thing you know, the smell of tangy okra and sweet crawdads sets them critters' lips smacking. They step a bit closer to the pot. "Mmm," says Mr. Gator. almost like my ma used to make. All this gumbo needs now is some tongue flamin' flavoring. Who's gonna grind the spices? I ain't, says Mademoiselle Possum. I ain't, said Mr. Otter. I ain't, sniffs Madame Skunk. Then I'll be doing it myself, says Mr. Gator. Mince, dice, chop, them spices go into the pot. And you guessed it, the smell of sharp spices, tangy okra, and sweet crawdads gets them critters' bellies grumbling. They step even closer to the pot. Mmm, says Mr. Gator, almost like my ma used to make. All this gumbo needs now is some long grain fluff. Who's gonna add the rice? I ain't, snaps Mademoiselle Possum. I ain't, snaps Mr. Otter. I ain't, snaps Madame Skunk. Then I'll be doing it myself, says Mr. Gator. Pour, scrape, glop. The rice goes into the pot. What do you think he's up to? Well, I tell you, there ain't nothing like the smell of white rice, sharp spices, tangy okra, and sweet crawdads. The savorous aroma of it all drives them critters so wild they rush right to the edge of the pot. Mmm, says Mr. Gator, almost like my ma used to make. All this gumbo needs now is some hungry folks. Who's gonna help eat it? Me, cries Mademoiselle Possum. Me, cries Mr. Otter. Me, cries Madame Skunk. Uh-oh. Humph, says Mr. Gator. I filled the pot, and I caught the crawdads. I picked the okra and ground the spices. Heck, I even added the rice. So now I'm gonna eat this gumbo all by myself. And he pulls out a big spoon and he dips it deep into that gumbo. Just one taste, begs Mademoiselle Possum. One taste, please, begs Mr. Otter. One taste and we won't tease you no more, promises Madame Skunk. One taste? Asks Mr. Gator. Is that all? Yes, cry them critters. Well, I suppose, says Mr. Gator. Slurp, slip, plop! Them animals got into the pot. And Mr. Gator, he sniffs that delicious smelling stuff. Mmm, he says, now this is gumbo just like Mama used to make. The end. Oh my goodness, what a silly story. Those animals kept making fun of him and then not helping, and then Mr. Gator was so hungry because he couldn't catch any animals, and in the end he had a whole belly full of them. I hope you like this story, and I will see you again soon with another one. Bye!